Hey guys, welcome to Approach to Nerd. It's your girl, Maria Park. And in this episode, I am happy to say I got a chance and had the honor of interviewing the cast of the Orville New Horizons, which is season 3 of the Orville from Fox, now on Hulu. And it is amazing. I also had a chance to catch episodes 1 and 3 of the screeners. And I'm telling you guys, so far, this show is amazing. It looks extremely cinematic. It's just the overall feel of the show is basically like watching a movie. And you'll hear a lot of the cast talk about kind of the changes and what it was like to, from going from Fox to Hulu and the whole writing style and the cinematography and how everything has changed, and also what's going on in the plot. We also have a new cast member, which you'll be introduced to in this video as well. She is brand new and she is a spitfire and I absolutely love her. So yeah, I am excited to show you guys this. And hopefully by now you have seen episode 1 because it did premiere on Hulu. If not, please check it out before you watch this video. There's slight spoilers, so just putting it out there. But without further ado, let's get into the cast interviews.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, ladies. Hi, how are you? I love your hair. It's gorgeous. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. So I just have to say, first of all, as a sci-fi fan, I love the fact that the Orville makes powerful characters that are female because you two literally represent, and I am so excited about just to say that. I'm in my 40s, so I can say that with clarity. I
got you beat.
But you don't look it, so that's fine. So I have questions. Since you are two very powerful, smart, brilliant, badass women on the show, how much input do you have in terms of your character development from season 1 to season 3? Did they go to you and say, "Hey, do you think your character would do this," or you just kind of roll with it?
I think Seth does a good job of writing these strong women, but I will say that Penny and I specifically, I think, are very honest with Seth, and we definitely go to him and say, maybe we wouldn't say it like that, or maybe we would say it like this. Not all the time, but he definitely does listen to us. And I think also just who we are as people, I think, helps bring these characters to light as well, But I've always been amazed at how well Seth has written these female characters, especially for a guy. Like it's rare, I think.
Yeah, it's unheard of, actually.
So but I think he's one of those wonderful writers who I was on a show once where this man, he could write his butt off. And what he was doing was being smart enough to watch who he had to write for. Mm-hmm. And that was Gary Shandling. And people thought that we improvised everything, but Gary was smart enough to watch. And I have to say that Seth is that same type. Seth is smart enough to watch and to interact with us because we interact, outside of this Orville thing, as friends. And I think that it translates onto the page, not necessarily exactly what we say, but he gets the rhythms of how someone is speaking. It's very musical to him. He casts like a musician. So our voices, he can hear them. And so to be able to, so that's part of us, that he's taking part of us and putting it there. So he's stealing from us, girl. You should be
I was waiting for that line. I think that's what's really happening.
Do that. So he's just brilliant that way, and it's on the page. So there you go.
I love that. So Dr. Finn is she in episodes 1 especially, she was going through it with Isaac. But I guess one of the things I've always wanted to know, your character seemed to be there to babysit Kelly and her wayward captain husband to see if they would get their act together. Now, with your two characters, do you feel like you've bonded more, and do you feel like you trust the system more, or do you still think that one day Mercer's just going to do something and everybody's going to die? And,
Well, first of all, the tables have been turned.
Kelly is now the mama bear.
True.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's the one giving
Kelly
advice
is giving the advice now because because of what she's gone through. But Claire goes to Kelly now for the advice because of what Claire has gone through. But I think our friendship and our sisterhood, it's just, I love it so much. I can't tell you. I mean, if I could have an affair with anyone on the ship, I would love for it to be like Kelly, like a girlfriend thing, because we just have a lot to say.
That's fine. You're speaking LGBTQ plus here, so I'm good with that.
And then those are my favorite scenes to shoot, are the ones with, Claire and Kelly, because they're just real bonding moments, and that's the way women talk to each other. Good friends talk to each other.
I agree with that, and I think we have probably about a minute left. So really quickly, do you feel like you are the logic, the kind of like the common sense of the crew and the entire ship, your two characters? Because I kind of feel that way a majority of the time.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
So my Lamar and Gordon, two of my favorite characters on the Orville, who honestly brighten my day when you're on screen, especially together. I had the pleasure of seeing the first and third episodes of season 3, and I just have a question. Are you guys going to hang out again? Like, I feel like when Lamar got promoted to engineering, or like chief of engineering, he literally is living below deck and you're on the bridge. And I don't get my banter like I used to. I love my nonsensical banter. So are we going to see a little bit more of that in season 3? Or
people miss that. We can't do the same thing over and over again. I will say this, and Jay Lee, what I do love where it's become, especially in season 3, is if I need advice or he needs something, I just go down to engineering, and all that banter happens kind of quickly in one scene instead of throughout the show. But yeah, we do still confide in each other.
Yeah, and then also, John is down there trying to save the ship. Yeah, and then Gordon comes down with some random question. But I miss it. Yeah. I think that the banter between Gordon and John is still there. It's still there.
I always need advice on women or It's actually Jay Lee and I in real life as well, probably. I go to him.
You go to him for advice about relationships?
Yep.
And I help him not at all.
Yeah. I've been married 3 times, so you're not doing too well, Jay.
Well, speaking of relationships, I know Lamar is not a stranger to the ladies on the ship. Not trying to throw any shade over there, but Gordon seems to be the one that's more reluctant. As a matter of fact, I believe you had an allergy to relationships because of being rejected or not having the confidence. Do we see relationships changing? Because we kind of implied with Lamar that he's got a little something maybe happening in season 3, but that's all hearsay. So what can you tell me about that without getting into trouble?
Well, you want to go, Scott?
Well, I do know, without getting into trouble, yes, this season sees Gordon grow, mature, and want a more substantial relationship. How that ends up happening is something, again, I can't say, but it is exciting, and I think it's spectacular, and it's one of my favorite episodes this year. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a good and I think John, his first love is work. Yeah. I think on this season, and you guys will see it, how much the ship has sort of had upgrades and what we're able to do. John has spent a lot of time doing that. So I think almost mirroring life. Work is kind of number one in relationships. They're there, but I think he's very focused on this ship.
Okay. Now, really quickly, we have 2 minutes. So I want to ask about Isaac, because Isaac is going through it this season. And I feel like Lamar is kind of on the fence of whether or not you trust him or not. But Gordon is just like, no. I'm like, I got to do it because of the work. But, no, I don't trust him at all. Does that cause any tension between my two amigos in season 3 at some point?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
no.
What you're saying is, it's private. It's work is work. I don't think there's anything that John Lamar and Gordon share that has. We don't argue over why I don't trust him and why he does. So that's not a subject that comes up. It's
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like a rift between us. But what's interesting though, and because I didn't know where the season was going or where the seasons were going, but if you go back and look at the pilot, I always had this idea that John never really trusted Isaac.
Yeah.
But he likes Isaac.
Right.
And it's interesting to see that thread kind of play throughout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a point of contention between us two.
And I think the reason Gordon has that is because he did like Isaac. He really trusted him. And when that trust was broken last year, that's why he was disappointed and maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, because when you look at it from face value, you had Lamar holding the fork. It's just it was interesting to see which characters actually trusted him more. So I like that perspective. I learned something today.
Me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are awesome. I love the show. Like I said, everything is upgraded. I love everything. It looks like mini movies. So you are knocking it out of the park.
They are.
Thank you.
They're great. Thank you.
You're like a proper studio.
I'm a voice actor as well, so I have to have a video game session today. So I might as well be in here anyway.
No big deal. Just a video game session. That's so dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I am so excited to be in here with you guys. I am a huge fan of the show. First off, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, so I'm just gonna kind of jump in. We only have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna start with Tala. So, what do you think is going to happen in season 3 for her? I want to have more backstory. I don't know if we're going to get to see her family. We had a mention of it, in episode 3. But do we get to see more? I know you probably can't go too spoilerish with me without getting into trouble. But yeah, just curious.
That is correct. It's a little bumpy ride for Tala this season. She experiences some ups and downs with her career and some personal relationships. But Ed does find this trust in her and gives her some more responsibility. So I do think it'll be a fun journey for everyone to come on with Tala. And we've been shooting this for so long. So when I started watching 301 and 303 and then different things started coming in, I'm like, oh my gosh, and this happens. And then, this character comes in and Tala does this and, Bordas does that. There's just so many fun, awesome, crazy things. And just the way it's shot. Obviously you saw they're like mini movies. And we've all worked so hard and it's been, it's definitely worth the wait, but there's so many wonderful storylines and things coming everyone's way. And I'm very excited for everyone to go on this journey with us, with not just Tala, with everyone. It's really great stuff. Really great.
I'm super excited for that. And then we have Anne, who is Charlie, and Yay. Charlie is sassy. She's like, Isaac, what?
Hot with her point of view. She is very strong and heavy with what she thinks and stands for. And I think her arc this season and what the audience hopefully will take away is, she definitely has a big change. She definitely starts at point A and ends in a very different kind of way. So I'm excited for people to see her arc of character.
I'm excited. Well, she came out like a fireball, so I was excited from the moment she opened her mouth. So with Jessica and Anne, so Jessica, you were new in season 2, you were the new crew member, and now we have Charlie, who's the ensign. So behind the scenes, did you kind of take her under her wing and say, "Hey, we're not crazy, but the script may make us look that way"? Kind of like
the first time that someone's asked that, but I would definitely attest to that. Yes, I feel like Jess was kind of like my big sister in a way at the beginning. You definitely made me feel very at home, and I felt like you were, like you said, you were kind of my big sister in a way. That's how I felt at the very beginning. For sure.
That's awesome. Because I know how that is coming on a new show, and you always remember when someone is very welcoming and warm to you. But I will say this, having her come on, I know that they were looking, searching up and down, left and right, seeing so many people for that role because it's super specific, and obviously they needed an amazing actor to bring her to life, and she came on like she was on the show from the pilot, just ready to play, having fun, bringing so many layers and colors to her role, and it was so fun for everyone to play off of. And she seemed like she was a part of the crew from the beginning, but also I remember when they did not cast it and hadn't cast it, and I had friends calling like, hey, if I send a tape in, can you send a note to the producers? I'm like, I mean, not sure how much more, you can do. Like,
actually, the funny story is when I did book it that day, that's when I ran into you and one of our producers at some random event at Allison.
Yeah,
we were like,
yes.
Like, oh, I don't know. Like, I hope I hear soon about the Orville. And she was like, well, I think you're going to be hearing some really good news soon.
I think they knew, and we were pumped.
I was like, wait, you're telling me I got it? Like, I had no idea. And you guys were like, you should be hearing soon. That was actually one of the best days ever.
She just
awesome.
she came ready to brought her A game, brought this character to life in such a way. And I'm so excited. That's one of my favorite parts of season 3. I'm so excited for everyone to go on that journey with her, because it's awesome.
So I'm just going to jump in because I don't have a lot of time, getting to spill the tea a little bit. I'm going to ask my biggest question for both Clyden and Bortis. What has happened with your marriage? I'm like, what is happening?
A lot.
You know how it is. Relationships have their bumps and bruises, ups and downs.
Sideways and under.
Sideways, under and over, crosshatch.
Yeah.
All of that.
All of that. So are we going to see more of this, pain fest in season 3?
Listen,
boy.
We're not gonna leave you hanging.
No.
Like we're not gonna. Yeah. Right. We got some stuff for you.
It's huge. It's huge. We're going all in for sure. And where we're gonna go, you won't see it. You won't see it, but you're gonna be flat on your face, like, wow.
Okay, take it. It's okay. It's okay. I forget. Yeah. Okay, this is going in a direction that I'm just gonna be quiet.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to get in trouble. So, but like a person nurse spilling the tea too much.
You again, you will not be remotely disappointed in any of it.
Okay.
You're not.
I'm very excited. I'm to see where that goes.
Things are bookended. You know what I mean? All of the setup. Well, all of the setup gets revisited, which in a way that you didn't see coming once again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Hello, Mark. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Good to be here.
Awesome. So, question for Isaac. So, Isaac is he's a very amazing character to me because of his lack of emotions and him using binary code and algorithms to express life. My question for you is, as a voice actor, because I know this is very challenging, you give Isaac this brightness in his voice that makes me question whether I understand humanity. How do you do that? What is your inspiration for that?
Wow. How do I respond to that? There's a brightness that helps you understand humanity. I think it's in the writing, really. He's very specifically written, precisely written, and as we've already discussed, Seth does not let you err from the script. He's very particular with that, and I think he's right to do so. Isaac, I think I can't help but bring a bit of my Britishness into Isaac. I thought I was just doing an American accent, but apparently not. I've been told many times that people hadn't realized I was doing an American accent. So I think it must be that kind of British-American hybrid, flying somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
But you know what? If I can, Mark, I will say, just having watched, refreshed on the screeners, there's an innocence and a detachment that I feel and then a non-judgment of and so the lilt of the language, the way that it's delivered, it almost English is not, it's he could be speaking in binary code, but it's a very disconnected, but it's almost an innocence, to a lack of judgment.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because I think it's his curiosity that makes him seem a bit childlike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted the voice to reflect that. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say because I'm a hybrid. My mother was British, my father is American, and so I'm a dual. And so my mother came over here from the States. She was like, "It's so foreign to me," and I always wondered if your portrayal of Isaac is actually coming from somewhere where you're like, "I'm not in the UK anymore. I'm in a whole other environment. Everything is new. I'm having to learn everything, the cultures, the language, and it just kind of plays out."
Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that, but I mean, I was the only Brit in the village for a good 5-6 years, and I think it must have influenced it. Yeah, I think you're right. Good observation.
I try. So Peter and Chad, now that we've gotten past the pain fest, so I guess this is really for all three of you. Since Isaac is right now the scarlet letter of the ship, what is really the reaction of your two characters in terms of Isaac? And we know Isaac technically doesn't feel anything, but I'm still on the camp of he has the data chip from TNG, so he might actually be affected in some way. So what are your opinions on the whole Isaac, being ostracized by the entire ship situation?
I will say because my mate and my child are on the ship, I feel like I don't have the luxury of an opinion. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I feel like I'm duty bound, and whatever keeps the ship going. Like, I mean, I feel like maybe secretly or privately I would share how I felt. But I think I understand because, like, I think, again, not being human, like, I think I understand. I mean, I think Bortus's is, honor, duty, and family, and maybe not necessarily in that order. And so, like, I feel like I don't have the luxury of giving Isaac stink eye when I see him, like, because it's really just about, I don't have time for that. I have to deal with my family and my child, and you know what I mean. So that's where, because it's not clear. I mean, it's not it's not evidenced. Like, I don't think Bortus shares his opinion, if without even giving anything away. I don't think that he ever does. So
I think it's quite interesting that all three of our characters are constantly having to navigate human society and human.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's written by human beings. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's
real human emotions. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You guys are
I can
amazing.
only answer that from this perspective that I'm just happy that I have stuff with Mark. I have substantive scenes with Mark. That's where I'm at.
We've got some really big scenes coming up, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, season 3 looks amazing, guys. I am so excited. It's definitely a tone change. Everything looks cinematic. I love it so much. So keep doing what you do. It is time for me to, they're telling me to leave, so I gotta go. So peace out. But you guys are amazing.
You too.
Love to Toronto. Love to Toronto.
Bye.
Okay, hello, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
We're good. Wonderful.
So to jump right in, I know you can't tell me all the juice that I want on season 3, so I'm not going to bombard you with that. So, but I do have a question I've always wanted to ask the writing staff of this series, and that basically is, how do you balance such serious episodes and then have moments where such nonsensical banter happens between characters without it touching or affecting or making fun of the source material at hand?
Well, we start with first of all, that's a lovely compliment, so thank you for that. It starts, Seth's priority is the drama, so you start with a dramatic story that involves your characters, and then the characters themselves are where the comedy comes from. They're flawed human beings. That's what makes them relatable, and like in life, people can be very funny without getting in the way of a dramatic story. And it's interesting to me because I think most successful genre movies and television do that thing that you're saying. They mix comedy and drama, and we work hard to make sure that the comedy never undermines the drama. That's a real priority for Seth and the writing staff, is to make sure that the jokes don't undermine it, don't get in the way of the drama, but that in those moments you can stop and have that playful banter because of who your characters are.
Yeah, that you've done a really good job of that. You've touched on a lot of things that are very truthful today and have a lot of truths to them in our current political climate. So yeah, I'm very excited when we can see something like that, but still say we're human beings and we can still react without it becoming this mysterious, pain fest the entire episode. Right. So yeah, I really appreciated that. This is probably a spoiler. I hope not, but I know that the Union and the Krill this season are kind of teamed up. Are we going to see any more negativity from the Krill? Because they pretty much think everyone else is crap and they need to be sacrificed. So are we going to see? I don't know if you can tell me anything about that or not. I know it's probably a spoiler.
The Krill. Never. Come on, you should know better than that.
I know. I'm trying. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but
Kind of looks like you're on a Krill ship right now.
I know.
I'm also a voice actor, so I'm in my sound booth since I have a voiceover session.
Krill holding pen right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Trust me, if I was out there, you hear a siren, you would not be happy. But all right, so basically,
nothing is. This is what I will say. Nothing is black and white in the Orville universe.
That's exactly right.
And
really?
that, in terms of your comment. I don't. First of all, I don't legitimize your comment. But secondly, more importantly, whatever you think, we're always looking to say things are not black and white. That's a very important theme in this show.
Huh. So then I guess I can go on a limb to say maybe the Kalon may have something else that we're not seeing. There's a little bit of gray area there, not just
correct. Also,
complete domination. Huh?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, I like that. Are we going to see more of the species, like more of their home worlds, or maybe get introduced? I know we did have one in episode 3. We got introduced to technically because of Kelly, a new alien species or evolved species. Are we going to see something more like that? Are we going to have more allies come? Which I go again. Maybe a spoiler.
Well, it's not a spoiler to say that we just like past seasons, we go to different worlds, and we've really upped the show in terms of the physical reality of these planets we go to. We get to see some civilizations, new friends and old, is what I would say.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay.
And John, we're depicting alien civilizations in a really cinematic way this year.
Actually, the quality, right? Is it more like the quality of
past, and then more so than most shows do. We're not just like the one wall here. We're on this planet. Here's the one wall. We're kind of on the planet. Here's what a whole street looks like. So it's a complete different feel and look, and you're going to be immersed when we go to those other planets.
So is this because of the move to Hulu? Really quickly, this is my wrap-up question, just to really quickly, because you have longer episodes, it seems, that look more cinematic and movie-like. Does that give you more freedom to write, whatever you want and be able to focus more on different things outside of the main cast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
that was the best
there's a lot of components. We could expand our storytelling ambitions, and John, I think it's safe to say, you took more shooting days. Yeah. These are movies. Each one of these things
more times within the scenes where you're not rushing. You're not. Television has a habit of like just cutting the words in, and everything else before and after the words never make the show because you're on such a time constraint. We had the time to do what we nicknamed shoe leather in the show, in television, where you can show people moving around a little more before they start talking, and that makes it different. That gives it that cinema feel.
Yep. Well, you're doing a great job. I love what's happening with season 3 so far. So keep it up.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it. But hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.